All right, I'd like to now invite to the stage Tess McNair, CNPE Board Chair and Executive Director of CENS Foundation, and Mason Rummel, CNPE Board Member and CEO of the James Graham Brown Foundation, to the stage to speak about our Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to get my foot stuck in the stage. It's totally fine. I'm Tess McNair. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
And I'm Mason Rummel, and the president of the Brown Foundation, as was just mentioned. And today we have the great pleasure of introducing our Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Our dear friend Bruce Maza. It's especially meaningful to me to stand here today and be part of presenting this award because 10 years ago, Bruce welcomed me into the social impact sector and the field of family philanthropy. And I wish I could tell you how much his friendship and mentorship have meant to me over this past decade. We don't have time, and I probably don't need to, because I don't think there's a person in this room who hasn't been touched by his kindness and generosity. So I just want to thank you for being here to celebrate someone who is incredibly important to me.
It's a little emotional, isn't it?
It is.
It really is. And as I was thinking about this moment, I was reflecting on the many years I've been in this work, and I think that I can speak on behalf of the current foundation leaders and former, many of whom are in this room right now, that when Bruce came onto the scene about 20 years ago or so, he brought us out of our silos, and he taught us about collaboration, about sharing knowledge, about teaching each other, about being humble, and working with integrity and honesty, and honoring this very, very important sector, which is, I think, probably the strongest leg of the three-legged stool of civil society, which he has taught us for many years. So now, let's take a look
And video.
at a video.
Hi, I'm Mike Ash, Regional President for Fifth Third Bank. Community service is a core value of ours at Fifth Third, where our employees believe in the giving of their time, talent, and treasure for the benefit of the nonprofit community. Fifth Third is proud to once again sponsor the Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations to Bruce Maza.
From the beginning, I was captivated by Bruce. He has a very strong intellect. He's naturally very curious, and he's extremely well-read.
Among Bruce's defining characteristics are precision in his thinking, in his language, in his emotions, and compassion. He really believes in other people and wants to believe the best in other people, and he's so disappointed when they don't live up to that.
You know, I know a lot of people in philanthropy, locally, regionally, nationally. I have never met anybody who embodied that spirit in their personality and could articulate it so clearly.
Well, I moved here from Seattle to take the job here, and my fundraising and grant-seeking experience were based in Seattle, which is a different marketplace. Bruce and I hit it off so well and so quickly that we quickly got past whatever power differentials there are when one party brings money to the table and the other party brings need. We got past that and worked together on achieving something really quickly. And then after that, we became fast friends.
He's a fellow who has the long view, and that is so important in philanthropy. But change takes time, and he appreciates that more than anybody I know, and he's always thinking ahead about how philanthropy can be applied to bring about that long-lasting change.
There are many pebbles in Louisville's philanthropic pond. Maybe Bruce was a boulder, right, in the pond, but there's no question that those ripples went out in a way that you can directly trace back to Bruce. I can do it in my own life and through the Parklands Project, but I know that is true as well for other projects he was involved in.
Welcome to the stage, Bruce Maza, and presenting the Lifetime Achievement Award to Bruce is Mike Ash with Fifth Third Bank.
I thought I had this under control. I'm not sure I do. You'll bear with me, maybe? So, first off, let me repeat what has already been said by others in wonderful ways. Stop for a minute and look around you at the stewards of the sector in which we form our values. So, to the board of directors of the Center for Nonprofit Excellence and to Fifth Third Bank, and Mr. Ash, will you please carry these thanks to your board? Please accept my thanks for this award and for the 22 years that I have lived among you. And especially the video, Virginia, Craig, Dan, old Yates will help me express to you my thanks and love, because my own words are inadequate. He said, "Think where man's glory most begins and ends, and say, my glory was I had such friends." Please, please, I implore you, do not understand this award that has my name on it today to be about my journey, but rather about the journey we have shared together over the past 22 years. As today, the voluntary sector, that's an old one. I'm now old, and so I, the voluntary sector, although I gotta digress. When you think about it, the voluntary sector is extremely descriptive. Think of the Latin root. To do it because we want to. We have to govern ourselves. We have to buy and sell things. But what we do in this sector, we do because we want to. So on this day, when the voluntary sector gathers for its annual event at which it calls itself yet again to excellence, it seems meet and right, and our bounden duty, to remember those who called me to join you here in Louisville 22 years ago. When Tess called me to tell me about the decision about this award in the spring, we did not imagine that David and Betty Jones would by now have passed into the heart's memory. I remember with astounding clarity the moment that David and Mary Gwen and Dan and little Becky, 5 years old, invited me for a second interview. The more important one, let it be said, with David and Betty Jones, the CENS Foundation's founders and the iconic leaders in Louisville philanthropy. Let me affirm, therefore, here today with you all, my beloved friends and colleagues, compassing me about as though a great cloud of witness, that it was a daily privilege and exhilaration to serve them and their children as they strove ever and always, as they so durably instructed those children, to give at the intersection of passion and competence. In reflecting on the 22 years that I have spent as your colleague here in Louisville, I remember too the 23 years prior to coming here and all of those people who formed me: parents, family, teachers, music masters, and friends. And I remember, a little point of personal privilege, the very first day of my job in the voluntary sector, February 4th, 1974, at the New York City Opera at Lincoln Center. That very first day, when frantically taking those minutes, I had never done that before, I awakened to the most durable fascination that has never diminished in all these years for me. The fascination with the moment that any donor says yes. So many of you, dear friends, and it is, surely you know, it is completely overwhelming to be greeted by so many of you and remembering the moments in which our professional and personal lives crossed. But you have been so kind in asking me, what am I doing now? Well, now that I have the best hours of the morning to myself, I have set myself a goal of regaining mastery of the pieces that I played on my high school senior organ recital, which I have badly neglected for, say, 40 years. It is a humbling exercise. I'm having to start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. It was an all-Bach program, but one of those pieces has suddenly emerged for me with new meaning. It is the Passacaglia and Fugue in C minor. Now, a Passacaglia is a dance form, in fact, in 3. And what distinguishes it is that it has a bass line on the organ played in the pedal that repeats again and again and again. It's called, in musicology, an ostinato, which comes from the same, we get the word obstinate from it, because it does not change. Relentless may be a better word. And then above it, as it continues underneath, in infinite variations and quotations, are lines that weave together in fascinating flights of melodic variety, comment, and innovation, but all founded on that ground bass theme underneath. I find in thinking about the Passacaglia an apt metaphor for us, for all of you. And the ground bass in our work is nothing less than the idea we are not alone. We are not alone. Relentless, obstinate, we are not alone. And then above it, in infinite variation, are the missions of all of you, of us, the institutions and causes in which we form, practice, refine, and transmit to future generations the hope generated to lives committed to moments when human need and human potential meet in love, the common bond of our humanity. Our Passacaglia, our dance. Thank you for letting me dance it with you.